Hello, everyone. I felt in the energy that I needed to come back on and do another reading for a Jordan Peterson. So here I am. Oh, wait. Is it kind of dark in here? Let me turn the other light on. All right. I don't know. I don't know if it's approved or not, but whatever. So let's see what reading I'm supposed to do for this man and call upon the spirit guides and ancestors in good standing of Jordan Peterson. How many cards should I do? The usual 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Oh, it'll be a short one then. So you don't know how this works. My necklace here is a pendant. It's just organite. It's just metal shavings and crystals. It moves for things that are true. It's just doing it based off of my Kundalini charge. That's all. Let's see. Yeah, here. If you're wondering, I have pneumonia still, so I'm like a little under the weather. Jealousy. Knight of Cups in reverse for jealousy. Oh, by the way, my table isn't actually dirty. It's just ash, and my cat kept like playing around with my cedar wood thing I used to cleanse. It's just ash. Obstacles to long-term goals. Oh. Oh. Acting strategically. You know, is someone stopping his forward movement in his career because they're jealous of him? Well, let's clarify the first card, which is the Nine of Cups in the reverse, which is jealousy. Let's clarify. Ooh. Work without results. You know, I used to watch Jordan Peterson before he joined the Daily Wire, and I personally noticed that his own personal channel that he had independent of the Daily Wire seemed to resonate more with the audience. And I feel like after he joined the Daily Wire, I feel like their influence started playing a part on the guests that were coming in, and I started hearing him echoing the kind of things that Ben Shapiro and the others were saying, and it was kind of diluting his message. And I don't know if he subscribed to their beliefs because he believed them or because he was doing it for career security. Impulsiveness. Let's clarify the Nine of Wands with impulsiveness. community. Maybe he felt like it was a good idea to join a Daily Wire because he was familiar with Ben Shapiro because they had debates previously. There was some tension, I think, going on with him. Was it back home or something? I guess maybe his views might have been a bit controversial, but I think they became more controversial when he got with the Daily Wire, and maybe he believed that he'll have more freedom to say what he wanted to with the protection of the Daily Wire, but I feel like the complete opposite ended up happening. I'm wondering what happened to his biblical series that he was doing. I really loved to watch those. I'm not saying he got all of it right, but it was fascinating from a psychological point of view. Upheaval, chaos. The tension probably made his life feel a bit chaotic, so maybe he made an impulsive decision to join the Daily Wire. I don't know if he did it for the stability of his family. I'm guessing there was a lot of liberalism that he didn't agree with going on in Canada at the time, and it kind of put a target on his back, and he was concerned about stability with his family. And I guess maybe he was given offers from other places, but maybe the offer from the Daily Wire was the most attractive in terms of finances. And he maybe assumed that based off of the debates he had with Shapiro previously, and he was assured that he'd be able to continue the way he was doing his interviews on his own channel before going on to the Daily Wire. And so I remember when he joined, it was like this huge thing, and he was like supposed to be the big professor coming on here, or psychologist, right? And I'm guessing they told him that they wanted him to come on, like have his debut or as being, aggressive, macho. I remember wearing his suit, and they like played little snippets and short clips about him coming on. And I'm wondering if he felt a bit uncomfortable with it. Because you have to remember, he was a professor at a university for many years, and he was probably used to being more open and approachable with people who are interested in the things he wanted to talk about. Because if you're a professor and you work in academia, you actually want to have a dialogue going back and forth, which is why he translated that into this YouTube channel. His independent one was having that continuous dialogue, and maybe with other academics or people that he found fascinating. And I don't know if he felt like the introduction of him on a Daily Wire kind of blocked off that approachableness that was a part of his original persona. Disconnection. I think he felt kind of disconnected from his original audience once he joined the Daily Wire. He might have noticed there was a change like an energy shift. People who work in psychology or psychiatry or any type of health related field, usually they're natural healers, practitioners of white magic, which is just manipulating the energy around you. And so I'm sure that he automatically felt somewhere disconnect and probably felt like the energy at the Daily Wire was full of strife, and he's a psychologist around a very colleagues who are very competitive and really they like to bicker with one another like children, and maybe sometimes he felt like he had to be the father figure, but then they were adults and didn't want to listen to him, and they had really hardline extreme opinions that he probably didn't agree with it, since he is more of a liberal than he is a conservative. But maybe his opinions on things about like gender made the conservatives at the Daily Wire believe that he was a good fit. But just because, listen, there's tons of people who are liberal who do not agree with the whole gender ideology. It's not a new thing in history. It reappears every once in a while. It doesn't mean that someone is a conservative just because they disagree with the gender ideology. I want people to understand you can still be a Democrat or a liberal and disagree with gender ideology. Liberalism is more about the people, focusing more on I think socialist type of ideas of democracy. It doesn't really have anything to do with someone's personal identity and what they do at home. That's completely whatever someone does, however they choose to identify or what they're doing in their home, really doesn't have anything to do with liberalism. And so my complaint too, as someone who agrees with this viewpoint, is that one of the biggest failures of the Democratic Party in America is they focus too much on identity politics when it really has nothing to do with political affiliation. Those things are private things that should be kept in the home. If you want to do this and that, you should go ahead and do it in the privacy of your home, but it really has nothing to do with Social Security, universal health care. I feel like these things have nothing to do with these viewpoints, and I don't know why it's been thrown into the liberal realm when it just shouldn't be there. You're like licking in my aerial shade. I think once he got there, he started to miss his own independent channel, but he signed a contract. You want to get in again? Go ahead. Come on. Hold on. Sorry, my cat's a baby. I think he had to kind of comply with what was going on at the Daily Wire because he might have been worried about job security and probably just wanted things to be stable for a while. Ew, Yoshi, stop. Nasty. Stop it. The cat is sucking on her nipples. It's so nasty. He was fair losing He was worried that he might lose his job, and then he witnessed what was going on with Candace, maybe, and that made him feel a bit worried too. I don't know if he's still at the Daily Wire, by the way. I really don't know. I'm just doing this. This is, I think this car is for the past, so I don't know if he's still there. I don't really keep up with him anymore. I stopped watching his channel more than a year ago, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. He considers himself a working parent. You know, his kids might be older adults. You know, I think he's always been really responsible. Yoshi, stop it. Stop it, you nasty. He's always been he's always been like a provider, so I think that's something that he wanted to continue to do, because maybe he would feel restless if he wasn't doing something. Oh, and I think when he started at his new position, the Daily Wire, he noticed that they were creative blocks. They were blocking his ideas, maybe if it ran counter to conservative ideals. I'm pretty sure he tried to get other people on, like that might have showed up like on his independent channel he had on YouTube, but they were just probably like, nah. And so I think, you know, when he started getting in those Twitter arguments, I think a lot of that was just repressed emotions from feeling stifled at this position where he couldn't explore his creativity like he's always been able to. Even, you know, maybe like there were some limits at his job as a university professor, but he was still kind of allowed to do his own research or whatever. But like working with the Daily Wire is a new thing. Like he was blocked probably continuously from what he wanted to do, whether that was himself blocking himself because he was aware of the environment, or it was them doing it directly. But I think he started to have some repressed emotion, and it turned into aggression, which is where this new aggressive personality started to appear. I think his like family started mentioning that he needed to calm. He mentioned this. I was watching him still at this point. He said that his family told him to like try to be a little bit more calmer, because maybe they also noticed the aggression going on, and so maybe he started like being aggressive on Twitter because he had repressed emotions, because he was dealing with a lot working on the Daily Wire, with his creativity being squashed and him feeling forced to do things a certain way. And you know, that's just how corporations are. Welcome to corporation America. You're not allowed, like, creativity and innovation is not allowed in corporate America. Insecurity. And he started getting some bad PR after he joined on with these people, because I guess, you know, the Daily Wire, they tend to be a bit right wing, and they're a bit of white supremacist, if you want me to be honest with you, and they're just a hateful, mean bunch. And I think his aggression that he was dealing with emotionally, it somehow got him thrown into the mix of these people, and people started attacking him in the public arena, and that made him probably feel even more, I don't know, anxious, depressed. Like, probably thinking, what can he do? He lost what he had, and when he was doing in Canada, and he tried to do the independent thing, and he thought that It'll give him bigger financial security with the sponsors and the salary with the day or however they pay him with the Daily Wire. But then they were squashing his creativity, and he started to internalize how he felt, and so it turned into anger because he had to release it somehow, and expressing himself somehow got him thrown in a group of a bunch of right-wingers at the Daily Wire since he worked there with them, and it just made him feel even worse. Lack of accountability. He felt like there was a lack of accountability at the Daily Wire. Maybe some people were allowed to do and say whatever they wanted, but he wasn't allowed to when he actually brought on a lot of views, probably. And I think a lot of this happened because maybe Ben Shapiro was jealous of Jordan. So Ben might have been creating setup to fail situations for Jordan because it was a competition of intelligence, and Ben wanted to prove to everyone that he was more intelligent than Jordan. And the way Ben treated Candace Owens and how she was let go and other things was, I think, a message to everyone who worked there that you can get fired if you don't fall in line and recognize someone as the superior person. Because I noticed Jordan became even more quiet after that. That's why jealousy is here. It's there because Ben is jealous of Jordan. Ben is jealous of Jordan because Jordan's more intelligent. And someone like Ben doesn't like to be in a room, doesn't like to be in a room with someone who's more intelligent than him. He always feels like he needs to be the most intelligent person in the room because he was like a child prodigy, apparently. And he's supposed to be the genius, so if he's not the smartest person in the room, he feels very insecure. And I'm pretty sure Jordan is aware of this because he's a psychologist or studies psychology. And you can see that this man Ben has an extremely fragile ego, and he has a shadow self that he hasn't integrated with. And so it is Ben's shadow self that's running the show of what is Ben. That's why he is so hateful and malicious. What's this? The Three of Wands in the reverse? Obstacles to long-term goal. Oh, that's a lot. Try it again. Self-protection. So this is Jordan went into self-protection mode. He started to isolate himself. Oops. and distracting himself. He just did what they wanted, and so he just can like skate by. And tried to work on forgiving himself for accepting a job there. And he entered to a form of depression. Because he was rethinking, he was probably stuck in his head and rethinking why he decided to join the Daily Wire. He turned to God and started praying for guidance. Oh, Jordan, she heard you. God's a she. The God you were praying to heard you. And he was checking in for realignment. He was asking God what he should do. He went into a form of solitude. He felt like he had a lack of control in the situation because his reputation has been tarnished, and he was worried if he will be able to financially support himself the way that he got used to based off of the current reputation harm that he was suffering from. That's the obstacles to long-term goals. Maybe he wanted just to end his contract and return to his independent channel. Honestly, if he wants my opinion, I think he should just quit at the Daily Wire and just go back to doing his own stuff. But I don't know if he signed a contract saying that whatever he makes is owned by the Daily Wire now. Maybe if so, maybe he could find a lawyer and just say that he signed the contract when he was under a lot of stress, because he was under a lot of stress. Because he was suffering from a lot of emotional setbacks from what was going on in his home country, and him feeling like he was being persecuted. So he can actually argue, if he had to sign a contract saying anything he makes for a couple years belongs to Daily Wire, he can now say instead that he was under emotional distress when he signed that contract, so that should make the contract void. So that he can go back to his own YouTube channel away from the Daily Wire, and he can probably find some type of peace and happiness. You know, he might not be making as much money as he was before. I think he'll be a lot happier, and he could probably fix his reputation that way. That would be, look, new idea, Page of Swords. Now, this is the future. Acting strategically with a Seven of Swords. He probably feels like he's being smothered. Because the people that he works with are oversensitive. This is the truth. They're oversensitive. And it's funny because they call liberals special snowflakes, but they're the most sensitive people online, it seems, doesn't it? They seem to have a problem with difference of opinions. It's like they find difference in opinions of lifestyles. Like the weird thing that Micah Knowles did with an ex-witch. I didn't watch it because I knew it was just going to be some bullshit. That woman he interviewed wasn't a real witch. I want to let people know what witches are. You are born a witch. You cannot become a witch. It's part of a bloodline. Yes, it's like freaking Harry Potter. People you're born with a certain type of magical aptitude, is part of your DNA, is part of your bloodline. That woman that he had, Michael Knowles, he was interviewing that witch lady. She's not a real witch. She's a human that was messing around with some maybe weird new agey spell books that she found, which are not rooted in real magic anyways. I would like to also state a lot of the stuff in the Bible is magic. It's spells. Psalms and Proverbs are a book of spells. Okay? So silly. You know, this is what happens when you work with people who are so closed-minded. Law. I think this might have to do with a contract. If Jordan Peterson ever watches this video, I want to let him know he's going to be able to walk away from that contract. And he's gonna make some travel plans. He's gonna move, maybe. He's gonna move, I think, after he walks away from the contract. Wherever that might be. Maybe he should live abroad for a while, somewhere else. I personally would love to live in China. You should look at the videos of China. It looks so nice. It's super updated, really technologically advanced. And, you know, if you're on Daily Wire, they have a problem with China. Even can go live in Africa, somewhere new that you never lived in before, or Europe or somewhere new, experience life somewhere else, away from the craziness of the West, which probably put him in this state of depression anyways. But he's gonna get his wish come true, wherever that is. This is why he just needs to act strategically. Okay? This is the message from the hermit, who is I. What's this, an Ace of Cups? It's a new opportunity. God heard your prayer and God answer it. So that's the reading for Mr. Peterson. I might do another reading on... Oopsies. I might do a reading on someone else later on. I don't know. Ooh, I have the hiccups. Take care.